What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. And once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be getting on the toilet, or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But I know that I'm ready. And so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. What's going on with you today, my peeps, my fellow wreckage clearers? What's happening? I hope that you are doing well. I also hope that last week when we had our discussion about accepting ourselves, you cannot grow without accepting yourself, because it is leading to today's discussion. And I'm going to tell you right now that this discussion today is either going to rub you the right way or it's going to make you itch. You may start scratching. You may break out in hives. Or you may start to feel real good. Either way, this discussion and conversation we are going to have today is going to leave a major impact on you. Yes, and that is my purpose, my friend, to just impact one of you that is listening to me today. Because I have been impacted by someone else, and I'm just passing that along. You know, remember, you can't pass along what you don't have. And with that, I hope that you are ready to clear the wreckage. And you already know how to do that. That means while we are discussing this, and even later, you are going to take the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. All right, so let's get into it. Accept others as they are. Yes, that is what we're going to talk about today. Last week, I segued into this. I told you that, hey, we're going to be talking about accepting others, but we got to accept ourselves first so that we can actually talk about this. And so let's go ahead and get into it. First, let me share with you how I began to learn this practice. And yes, because it is a practice, a daily practice of accepting others, right? I mean, let's admit to ourselves first that some people are just hard to downright accept, right? Some people are just downright hard to accept. I mean, you look at some people and you're just like, oh my God, get a grip, will you? I know, I can raise my hand. I can attest to that. So while we're having this conversation, I want you to think about that one person that is in your life that you just been having a really hard time accepting them as they are. You've been just having a really hard time. That person could be a friend, a family member, a spouse, I don't know. But you've just been having a really hard time accepting them as they are. And there's a reason why that is, though, and we will dive into that as well. There's a reason why it is so hard to accept some people as they are. And you might even be able to spot that reason as I share this story with you. We'll see. But back in 2017, right? Remember, I'm sharing my story. This is the setting. This is where we are in that time frame in between 2017 and 2019. But back in 2017, when I got married, I thought and I imagined, and this is going to sound really crazy, Because I was freaking delusional. But anyway. Oh man, I just thought I'd get you to laugh about that. But no, seriously. Seriously, y'all already know I'm a nut, man, you know. But back in 2017, when I got married, I really did. I thought and I imagined my marriage, right? And I imagined it to be filled with joy, peace, happiness, excitement, lots of sex, and and us becoming the couple who was known for overcoming. We were going to be two people who were going to be triumphant. We were going to write books together, have kids, have the beautiful house, and everything was going to be peaches, creams, and strawberries. Yep. That was my exact thought process, my friends. I know. Sounds really crazy, huh? And it kind of sounds like a utopia, right? Like this perfect marriage, the perfect kids, the perfect life, the perfect everything. Boy, was I completely off target. I was off target all the way. Now, granted, there were some of those things in there, of course, you know, but I was just off target. And I think, honestly, we tend to set ourselves up in that way with a lot of our relationships, right? Don't let it just be me sitting up here saying I think stuff like that. I'm sure that we set ourselves up in that way, maybe with friendships. Maybe we just think, oh, this friendship is going to be triumphant. It's going to be peaches, creams, and strawberries. There's never going to be any type of adversity. The other person is always going to be on the same page as me. They're never going to disagree with me. They're never going to go in a different direction. Nothing's ever going to change. Oh. And you probably think that way because when you meet somebody that you're attracted to, you probably are attracted to them because they are just like you. Like attracts like. I had to just be silent on that for a minute so you could actually catch that one. Like attracts like. And that isn't really that deep, but that's deep. Because I want you to think about your life and about what you are attracting in your life right now. Like attracts like. So yeah, let's think about our childhood when we were growing up. Let's just talk about this real quick. I just want to give some analogies. I just want to talk to you and just kind of get your mind moving a little bit as we have this discussion. When we were growing up, you know, and you were in school, did you talk to the person that didn't look like you? Probably not. Did you go and play with the person that did not act like you or talk like you? Probably not. And you probably, you know, and you did this throughout school. Not just in kindergarten and first grade and second grade. You did this all the way through school. I'm talking about all the way through college, everything. You hung out with the people that were just like you. You were attracted to those people. And you thought, oh, we're just alike, so everything's going to be amazing all the time. We'll never have a disagreement, we'll never fight, we'll never argue. Oh, it's going to be great. Until. So anyway, when my ex-wife, so I'll just talk about my story. Well, I just wanted you to think about that, though, for a little bit while we're having this discussion. Just think about it. And this applies to everywhere, even when you're at work. This applies to that. You're at work, you like attracts like. You're probably clicking with those at work that are like you, that are similar, that think like you or act like you, dress like you. Yeah. So when my ex-wife, y'all, started struggling with her own addictions, it became difficult to accept her. Yeah. But it also was a lesson, and in that lesson, here's something I learned. I learned how to practice acceptance. Some will say I learned the hard way, because those that are close to me and they saw me in my marriage will think, oh my God, you went through such a hardship. You learned the hard way. But I say I learned the best way. Yes. Because I was looking at my past self every day. Every day that I looked into her eyes, I saw me. I saw the trauma. I saw the abandonment. I saw the pain. I saw the powerlessness. I saw the defiant spirit. I also saw the pain, the hurt, the agony, the turmoil that my mother, my father, my siblings, or anyone close to me went through with me. So, my friends, I believe this is key to us all being able to practice acceptance. Now, we discussed this previously on episode, 58, when we were talking about compassion and how I couldn't accept the person who was holding a sign asking for food or money until I became that person. Yes. So you will never be able, this is my opinion, this is my viewpoint, you will never be able to accept others until you become them. Or in simple terms, until you go through something similar as they have went through. It then becomes a lot easier to accept others. Why? Because now you have a taste. You have a taste of what it is like. What it is like. You have a taste. Commonality makes it a lot easier. Why? Because now there is a sense of empathy, compassion, understanding. Notice I did not say understanding, and we will discuss that word some other time. I got to break down words for you, so we'll break that word down some other time. But no, inner. Why inner? Because now you feel this. You feel it all. So when somebody be like, I feel you, do they really feel you, dog? Hey, man, I feel you, bro. I feel you, dog. Do they really feel you? Huh? Now I say I feel you when I really feel you. I'm like, dude, I feel you. Ugh, that sucks. So it was this way. So it was in recovery where I learned the first half of the Serenity Prayer. And I want to talk about that with you because this is something that helped me so immensely. I learned the first part of that Serenity Prayer, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer helped me immensely in accepting my ex-wife and, of course, others. Yes, when you have a person that you are close to, whether it be a spouse, a friend, a family member who is not going in, let's say they're not going in the same direction or the same path as you. They're going in a completely opposite, different path, opposite direction. They may be making decisions or choices that seem a little disruptive to you. And it's hard for you to accept them right where they are, especially when there is some sort of ripple effect on your life when they are hurting you. Maybe the choices that they are making, or maybe it's the things that they are saying to you. Maybe it's the arguments, maybe it's the fighting, maybe it's the fussing, maybe it's the disagreements. I don't know. But it becomes a lot easier to become angry, to form a resentment against said person than to accept them right where they are in their journey of life. And that is how it was for me, my friends, during my marriage. And that is why I am sharing it with you, so that you can know, right? I'm sharing this experience with you so that you can know that you are not alone. But the other reason I'm sharing it with you is so that you can know that the wreckage can be cleared. And that you, my friend, can accept others right where they are. So the more I saw myself in my ex-wife, the easier it was for me to accept her right where she was. That is my first point. My first point is just that. The sooner you see yourself in others, the easier it will be for you to accept them right where they are. Let me repeat that. The sooner you see yourself in others, the easier it will be for you to accept them right where they are. The more you separate yourself from that person, the more you will not accept them. The more you say things like, how could they? How could they? I would never. I can't believe them. I can't believe they would. Man, why can't they just... Why do they keep doing the same things? Why is this person continually arguing with me or fighting me or fussing with me? Why? How come? I would never. I can't believe that they would ever do something like this. I wouldn't. How could they? When you start saying these things, my friends, the more your ego separates you from them. What about you? What about you? I bet and I guarantee that there was a time, or maybe there will be a time in your life, where people close to you are saying the same exact things. How could he? How could she? The same exact things. So what about you? So the key is actually knowing that you cannot change anyone. The more that I tried to fix, change, or control my ex-wife, the more separate we became. And the more I accepted her right where she was, the closer she became, and the closer we became, and the easier it became for her to be open, for me to be open, for her to be transparent, for me to be transparent and real, to be vulnerable, for her to be herself, for me to be myself. She did not feel like she needed to put on an act or a front or lie or hide. No. Why? Because acceptance of others is the active, non-judgmental acknowledgement of people as they are. Acceptance of others, acceptance of me, accepting her was me going, look, this is where my ex-wife is in her life at this moment. There is exactly nothing that I can say. There is nothing that I can do to change where she is. So acceptance of others is that active. It's that active. Active meaning I cannot judge her. I can only acknowledge where she is rather than me trying to place her where I want her to be. Right. This is where my ex-wife is. She is not over here where I want her to be. I accept that. That's what acceptance is. That's what acceptance of others is, my friends. So also with me in recovery, and I'll talk about recovery and personal growth. In recovery and personal growth, practicing acceptance reduces the emotional turmoil that's caused by trying to control others, produces more of a healthier relationship, reduces loneliness, and it enables personal growth by shifting that focus towards self-awareness and positive, sustainable change. So for me, praying the serenity prayer over and over and over, especially when my ex-wife was struggling or distant, really helped me to realize that I cannot change her or control her or fix her. I can only change myself. And right now, I feel sad. I feel angry, judgmental. So give me the courage to change the things that I can. Help me to look at myself. Help me remember how I was and the turmoil that I put others through. That, my friends, is the wisdom in that. And then that gives me the clarity to know the difference. Well, dang. Wouldn't I have wanted someone or others to accept me as I am? Wouldn't I have wanted others to have some empathy or to have some compassion, will you? Man, wouldn't I want that? Man, wouldn't it have been easier for me to connect and be vulnerable and talk about my problems or my struggles and or why I am making the choices I am making? Or open up and say, I really don't know why I can't stop drinking. I really don't know why I keep acting like a jackass. Wouldn't I have wanted that? So here is one thing to remember. Let's keep this in mind as we move forward throughout our journey of clearing the wreckage and our journey of practicing accepting others. We all go through things in life, and everyone is not going to be at the same place that you are at in your journey. This is so simple. It's simple logic, right? But we tend to forget that when we see somebody acting up, somebody close to us that's acting up. When we see that and it hurts us, we want to change them, fix them. No, you're not supposed to be this way. You're supposed to be this way. Why are you this way and you're supposed to be this way? Hey man, why are you facing that way and you're supposed to be facing the other way? Yeah. So I learned so much about myself because that's what this is about, my friends. Clearing the wreckage is about us taking the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. That is what clearing the wreckage is about. It has nothing to do with the other person. So I learned so much. And through it all, I was able to grow. As I wanted so much for her growth, of course I did. However, once I stopped trying to control and fix, is when the growth started happening in me, which fostered a deeper connection between her and I. Now, I've grown so much in this area that now people have a sense of ease, a sense of comfort and reassurance when they are around me. That is because I accept others as they are. Now, this again is a daily practice. Trust me when I tell you, there are times that I want to fix, control, or change others. But now I have some tools that I can practice that helps me grow in this area. And the first tool will be listening to understand. Listening to understand others. Not listening while the other person is talking and thinking in your head what you are about to respond and say in combat to what they are saying. No. Listening to understand others means that I focus on hearing the other person. I focus on hearing what the other person is saying. I focus on hearing other people's stories and their perspective rather than immediately judging them. So when that person is talking, I'm not going through my head having a monologue. Oh man, I can't, having a monologue in my head. This person is so dumb. I can't believe they think this way. Oh, I got something to come back to that. I'm not doing that. I'm listening so that I can understand their perspective. I ask questions a lot to gain perspective, to gain more of an understanding. That's the second thing that I do. So I listen to understand, and I also ask questions a lot. And I ask questions now in a lot. I ask people so many questions. I'm sure people be like, gosh, here's another question he's asking me. No, but seriously, I ask questions. But back then, this is what I was doing, and this is still what I do now. And so when my ex-wife would share something with me, I would listen to understand instead of listening to react. Understood? You guys get it? Get what I'm saying? All right, let's move on. And the next thing I do is I practice letting go of my need for control. My need for control. First, I'm aware that I have some issues in that area. Then I acknowledge, I kind of want to control and change them. I kind of don't really like the way that they think about this. That doesn't make any sense. When I start thinking that, I have to acknowledge that this is what I'm thinking. Then I admit to myself, well, dang, yeah, Kareem, you're a bit of a control freak, mate. You're a bit of a control freak, mate. That's my English accent. It's very horrible, by the way. No, but seriously, so I have to admit that. Dang, Kareem, man, you are really a control freak. Then I accept that about myself. After I accept it, that is when I release it. I release that by noting everyone is entitled to their own viewpoint. They're entitled to their own life. They have their own journey, even if it looks different from mine, even if it sounds different from mine. All is well, and it is okay. No one is right. No one is wrong. I take my ego off of its throne, basically, is what I'm telling you. That is what I do. Then I focus on the good. Actively appreciate the other person's uniqueness. Rather than being so focused on their perceived flaws, what is it about this person that just makes them unique? Focus on that. And as I said to you last week, that accepting ourselves makes it a lot easier to accept others. So the key, my friend, is accepting you first. This is the epidemic. This is the problem. This is the root of the problem. And why we are all walking around judging other people, looking at other people as if they are the crazy ones, and placing them into categories and separating them and putting them over here while you are over here, placing yourself above them, placing yourself lower than them. This is the epidemic, my friends. This is why you must accept yourself. The problem is that you cannot accept yourself. So how in the hell, please somebody tell me, oh boy, I'm about to start preaching up in here. How are you going to accept someone else? You can't. It's impossible. If you do not accept yourself, you can't look at somebody else and accept them. It's going to be difficult because there are things about you that you don't accept. So obviously you're going to see those flaws in other people. Oh boy. So, and let me reiterate to you that acceptance does not mean that you like everything that someone does. Acceptance and approval are not the same things. We talked about this last week, right? You can accept somebody without liking and approving of everything that they do or everything that they say or the choices that they make, but rather you respect their right to be themselves. In other words, you respect their right to be human. You can't walk around here like you are the God of gods, the King of kings. You are the one that's on the throne. Go ahead and keep walking around here like that. And you will never grow. You will never grow. You will never grow in love with yourself. You will never grow in love with others. You will never grow into acceptance of yourself. And you will never be able to accept others. And you're going to continue to go through emotional turmoil, stress, constantly, fear, sometimes even paralytic fear. It's going to keep you away from people. It's going to keep you not being connected with people, and you're going to be lonely for the rest of your life. I'm just saying. Somebody's got to say it to you. I might as well just tell you. It is time, my friends, to practice accepting ourselves so that we may accept others as they are. So respect their right to be them, their right to be human. their right to screw up from time to time. Yes. Just because you don't accept yourself and you throw a pity party or you beat yourself up so much when you screw up, doesn't mean that you can't look at the other person. Doesn't mean that the other person isn't going to probably struggle with the same thing. In other words. So you got to be able to accept that about yourself. You got to be able to accept, okay, you know what, man, I screwed up. I'm human. And then you can look at the other person and be like, yeah, you screwed up, but you're human. I forgive you. And I love you. And I accept you as you are. You may not approve of their screw up, but you can accept them just as they are because they are human just like you. And once you remember yourself, then you become free. Once you place yourself back into membership with the other members, once you become one, then you are set free, my friend, because you will then remember that you are just like them and they are just like you. A spiritual being having a human experience. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to end this with a poem that I wrote. And guess what the title of it is called? Acceptance. And in this poem, I want you to kind of really listen to it because I'm actually talking about just people. I'm talking about it from a different perspective. I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about other people and how they may feel when they are not accepted. And I'm talking about how we can accept others. And we've already kind of talked about that already on the last few episodes, right? Divine love. But anyway, let's let me go ahead and share this poem with you real quick. It's called Acceptance. Let's see if I can practice acceptance and toleration. The problem with that is that humans bother my patience. It's a lot of placing individuals and categories, so I wonder what category I'm placed in. Because I walk with the twist and my hips be swaying, then to you, oh, I must be gay. I don't know. Maybe that's what you saying. Or I'm a black man that was taken and placed in a slave ship full of niggers, and if you say that, then you racist. What's my placement? Is it a criminal whose life is wasted because of my skin color? I'm locked up with the minimum of 20 years I'm facing? Or do you see me on a corner with the sign and you sigh, thinking, why won't he get a job? I know it's not that hard to make it. Or maybe I'm a thug because I love to have my pants hanging below my waist. So to you, I'm slanging drugs or smoking it. I don't know what you thinking. It's easy to lose focus when you don't notice that your own boat is sinking, drowning. Too busy trying to fix other people instead of keeping your eyes fixed on your surroundings. The tide is rising. Water is climbing above sea level. See, shovel and dig a hole for your problems and try to hide them. Expose everyone else. I suppose everyone else to you is a tyrant. But the only one that's standing beside you is you. And if you only knew or had a clue that no one is really as bad as you, and that includes rapists, murderers, drug dealers. But it's sad that you don't know that love heals us and covers a multitude of offenses, bringing me close to you, coming over fences. But hopefully you will get it, but so be it. Criticize every other human being. I believe it's an epidemic or a disease that sits beats within us and bleeds and seeps into another person's war. And what's more is that it is not ours to fight. I can't control nothing. I ain't got enough might. I can't change another person's life, only mine. So divine is my quest. There is no question I am in line to be blessed, and so is every other person who gets on your nerves with their imperfect imperfections. There's a purpose perfected, grow in my service of others, purpose perfected. Wash someone else's feet that's filled with dirt and respect them. Hurt and rejection will cause us to hurt and reject them instead of accepting the level that someone else is at or on. Take them off of your platform. They cannot reach your standards. So don't let them stand on it. People are prone to fall off. It's placed too high on a tottering beam. It seems they can only reach the top in your dreams. As soon as you awake, the next day they placed on the ground with 2 feet, walking right next to you, acting the same but in their own way, unique. No one is different. Everybody is broken, split in pieces, afflicted with dis-ease. It's no peace on this land, so a man has to have a piece in his hand. Resort to violence couldn't be part of the plan, but man, it's so hard to live with, especially when all you do is take in this life and not give anything, not wealth or diamond rings, but to help a guy in the time of need, or accept this man when he is on his knees. Instead of sitting around and judging others, the human race is one. That's your sister or brother, niece, nephew, or cousin, maybe your mother. Maybe this world would be different if we learned to love us. Acceptance. And as I always leave you, folks, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.